Welcome back to The Watch. And, Oz, have you heard of black girl gamers?
I've heard of black women.
Black women who happen to be gamers?
No, not that combination.
Not that combination? It's not a common... Of course, there are black women who play games, okay? But in terms of this organization, Black Girl Gamers, they seem to be a consultancy company that they certainly worked on a rather infamous game.
What game?
Wasn't very popular in terms of lots of sales, but
I wouldn't think so.
But it's infamous because of how bad it was.
Okay, what was the game? Forspoken?
Forspoken. Yep. They helped out with Forspoken. What a thing to put on your resume.
Game that died. I mean, was it ever alive?
Oh, I know, right? That was dead on delivery, and the writing that they showed was just so awful.
Yeah.
And you'd think any game dev company with any brains would say, "Oh, you consulted with Forspoken, okay." Yeah, we want to work with you, kind of thing. What, do you help out with the dialogue or the character?
Yeah, you're exactly who we're looking for. We needed another nail in the coffin of our studio, so thank you. Welcome aboard.
But also, it seems like a company that was made to try and boost and give attention to black girl gamers.
Is that what the company who made the game is for?
They I don't know what, just the black girl gamers company group people.
Oh, okay.
It started out as like a Facebook kind of group, I think.
There's so many things of diversity and this and that. Like, I'm just so confused. You mentioned black girl gamers. I don't even know who we're referring to anymore. Are they even girls?
I don't know.
I know
Lots of
they're not
women.
gamers.
But my question I have questions about the company, but then they've been caught up in controversy. There's accusations about discriminatory hiring practices. They are launching lawsuits against people who claim that they're discriminatory, and they are trying to smear and slander one of their former associates, whose name is Gothix. And Gothix, I've been able to chat with her and hang out with a bit on Friday Night Tights. She came on Friday Night Tights and I was there. And awesome lady. Gothix, really, head switched on, solid, really cool person, okay? But she actually was associated with Black Girl Gaming to begin with because she is black and plays some games.
Wait, it's a girl?
And she's a girl.
Look, I appreciate she's trying to help, but I'm be careful. I don't trust I don't trust girls playing my games, man. I don't trust
Why? That sounds a bit misogynistic, Oz.
Well, as long as I'm not being racist, it's okay.
Well, this is the thing, right? Some people do get defensive about now girls in male spaces because there's a bit of a track record of when, they start to want to change the space and shame, men in the audience for liking things and stuff.
Yeah, but a track record implies a win and a loss. I think this is the entire sport. I think that's the goal of the game they're playing, to ruin everything.
But in reality, right? Most gamers, of course, not only do they not have any issue with, women, girls playing games, they think it's hot. And so it's like, oh, you like games? I like games. And there's something to build on there. And that's been my experience almost with every geek sphere, whether it's been Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, anime, or anything. It's like if a girl likes something that usually guys more like, guys are like, that's awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
My missus is playing Skyrim. She loves it. She's terrible at it.
I mean, my missus is playing Dragon's Dogma 2.
Hey.
I love it. And so, and we, she's playing on the Xbox, I'm playing on the PC, and we just sit next to each other and we play games, talk about what we're achieving, what we're doing. And gaming can bring, people together and even couples together. Yeah. It's a wonderful thing. Living the dream, right? So, going back to Black Girl Gamers, I'm confused by the purpose of this organization. To me, any girl who happens to be black could play games. Okay?
Maybe it's a company it's a white male gamer advocacy group. Wait, no, it's not that. I mean, maybe it's the opposite of that.
Opposite of that.
Yeah.
It seems like it's based on the whole narrative that people of minority status are kept out of certain communities and groups, and therefore they need specific advocacy and help because they can't achieve it on their own because there is, white privilege and all that stuff that's enabling white people and white girls and everything like that to be gamers and be accepted in community and stuff like that. So they need help because it's hard enough for a woman, but a black woman, well, that's just intersectionality. When those two things combined, they are higher on the oppression hierarchy.
Yeah.
You know?
What about where's black girl trans gamers? Where's black girl disabled?
That seems, according to intersectionality, that is a more oppressed group that needs even greater advocacy.
Yep. What's next? It's a disembodied carcass with no arms, no legs, no gender even.
Yeah. And they often base the narrative that, people of minority status need advocacy and help to get into certain either industries or even just hobbies, right? Based on what they feel is a low representation of that group in the hobby. Now that's interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, why create a bandwagon for something that you admit is a minority?
Well, that's one of the interesting things. If it's a minority group, meaning they comprise a very small percentage of the overall population, would it not then translate that they would not have a large representation in many things because they're a minority group? Isn't that by definition the result? And if you had equal representation per capita, right, wouldn't that percentage be reflected?
Yeah.
But it seems like that's not good enough. When they want equal, they want...
Scorched earth.
I was going to say 50-50, but they don't want 50-50. They actually
the whole pie.
They want the whole pie. And when it comes to their representation, what they really want is just no straight white men.
Yep.
And throw them out. And as long as they have like a full majority representation, nearly all of any person from a minority group, that is equality in their mind, which is just straight no, means no straight white men, which seems a bit misogynistic and sexist to me.
Yeah. But also, right, the fact that there's a logical progression towards the more oppressed, like, obviously, like, what's more oppressed than a woman is a black woman, right? Or what's more oppressed than a black woman is a black trans. Like, obviously, the push towards one direction is excluding more and more people, right? So, like, what was my point? I don't know. I forgot it. And it's somewhere in there.
Well, you're talking about intersectionality here. And by the way, this philosophy is intersectionality, which is the whole oppression hierarchy and stuff like that. It is at the core of what woke ideology is. And when people say try and define woke ideology, it's like intersectionality. That's a core. But it's also just starting to mean far leftist, extremist ideological positions.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, right, you can have, like, fine, aim for a minority audience. That's a market you can tap. But it seems the entire world is trying to change the market to cater to something that isn't even really there, actually, it seems.
Well,
no money.
I mean, it's what they did with comic books. It's like, let's change comic books to cater to women who don't read comic books. And they end up, disenfranchising the core audience. And they're trying to court, a market that is smaller and doesn't even want interested in it. And then they say, well, if you're not interested, like, men, if you aren't interested in our feminist films and feminist comic books, you're a sexist. We are making crap. You better eat this crap we're shoveling in your face or you're a bigot, right? And that's probably their views with Forspoken. Black girl gamers are like, well, they want to diversify and make it in their image. And if people don't like it, they're just sexist. So, black girl gaming, right? They are trying to say that not enough black girls are into gaming. And it's the whole based off the minority, thing. When, again, they're already a minority. But then on top of that, girls, on average, are not into, like, when I say hardcore gaming, like, sort of like heavy shooters, the competitive scene, stuff like that. There's a lot of games that girls really like, mobile games. My wife loves a game called Dreamlight Valley. It's a very girly game.
I heard there was like one single female esports team and it lost like everything and then they stopped it.
And it is interesting that in certain competitive spheres, men do seem to win more often than women. That's why you have women divisions and male divisions. They're just saying, like most chess champions happen to be men. And so even when you look at like they're saying women aren't into gaming, and it's like, well, hang on, depends on the type of game. But then they say there's a problem. There's something wrong with the fact there aren't enough women in like competitive esports or playing the violent action games. And so either they want to change the violent action games to make them less violent and actiony to appeal to a female audience, and then the female audience still doesn't care because it's still the type of game. And that's exactly what they've done with comic books, right? Feminize it, and then women don't like it because the women who like the comic books liked it the way that was. And the few women that are into more predominantly male-enjoyed gaming or everything like that like the way it is. They also like the violent and action stuff, right? But when they want to remake it to supposedly appeal to a female audience, the women that already enjoyed it hate it now. And the women that they're trying to court just aren't into games to begin with.
There is one game. Women do love mind games, though. I've noticed.
You've
personally.
noticed that?
Yeah. And they're great at them, too.
They seem to be pretty good at mind games.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So...
It's a horror game for me.
That's the nature of what's actually happening here. And so either, they will try and remake the hobby, or they will try and force women into it, and even like so esports is an interesting one, because if you're trying to draw female gamers from a smaller pool, because just statistically they're a minority based on how many girls are interested in esports and stuff like that, you're never going to have a league filled with as many, high-level players as men, because you're drawing from a small pool. Like, on a smaller percentage base, you're only going to have, a couple of high-level players, but then to fill all the other slots, you then need to draw from the lower-level players. But they want to force the issue, okay? And so that's what Black Girl Gaming seems to want to do. And then I come back to, like, why? Why is it an issue that esports is mostly filled by men? Why is that a problem specifically? Why is it a problem that there are some things that are enjoyed more by men, and there are some things that are enjoyed more by women?
Because we're not allowed to have anything that distinguishes the genders.
That's where it comes down to. Like, that was being a feminist philosophy was being pushed for the thing that there's no physical differences between men and women apart from reproduction. That women are just as strong as men, and it's only upbringing that makes the upper body strength differences. And when that is nonsense biologically, flat nonsense. And even when you have women that are raised with trying to rough and tumble play and do the things that boys do, puberty makes a big difference. Testosterone makes a big difference, right? But it comes down to they are affronted that the genders are different. That women naturally have certain interests that are different to men, and a lot of the interests that men are into do lead to higher paying jobs usually. Men gravitate more often towards STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, math, right? And those are jobs that just pay more. But they say it's sexist that it pays more. We need to pay, arts, social sciences, counselling and stuff. Way more. By the way, certain counselling can pay a lot. But the thing about the difference, right, is the nature of these fields, one lends to higher scalability and therefore marketability, and that's just capitalism and demand, right? Like, if a guy who's into science and technology and engineering, he makes an app. That app is infinitely scalable, okay? And it's going to make a lot of money. But if you have a lot of women that are into nursing, you can't really scale that economically, okay?
Yeah, because you're limited by the individual person.
Exactly. And that is just the nature of reality. Women tend to gravitate towards career paths that are not as scalable or a marketable thing, and the careers end up, earning less money. But even in the sports thing, because men can compete on a much higher physical level, right? And there's an physical aggression that men will really get stuck into, which can make watching men engage in sport really dynamic, and you get caught up in the conflict and the underlying aggression that's there, right? That just on a market level ends up being vastly more engaging for more people, men and women, to watch people perform at a higher level. And therefore male sport tends to bring in more money.
Yeah, it's
but it's sexist that women who play the same sport don't earn as much money.
And really, are they playing the same sport if they're not playing at the same level?
You know, I mean, people want to see people perform at a high level, and it comes back to gaming as well. It is sexist that not as many women are into gaming.
Sorry, I just had a thought.
Yeah,
You know how you got women's sport?
yeah.
What we need, like, we need. So you know how they say like women aren't as funny as men. We need women's comedy. That's what we need. Let's separate everything now. You know what? You're right. Let's do it.
I mean, there's some good funny female comics, but they're just less represented than men. Shout out to Chrissy May.
Who? Chrissy
May. She's on
never
FNT with it. Yeah, she's funny.
I'll check her out.
Yeah.
But generally, all men are the funniest.
That's one of the ways that men attract women is actually humor and things.
Because we have to be, we have to be. We work hard.
Yeah, there are certain things in society and just the way that gender dynamics that force men to gravitate towards career paths, but also behaviors and things that
Yep.
It's just the way the world works.
We basically instantly learn that the world really doesn't care about us, and so we develop a character.
Men have to produce.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if men are providers and women need providers when they're pregnant, stuff like that, men need to learn to work hard and provide.
Yep.
Right? Going back, why is it an issue that most men play games? Because that's the whole foundation of black girl gaming and the whole represented thing. And the reality thing, it's not an issue. There's just this sense of oppression, especially when it's not there, because they believe that it's easier for men to get into gaming and esports and all that stuff.
Which is true.
Men like it, but in terms of on a competitive level or anything like that, if a woman can compete on the same level, she will be able to succeed, right? That's been the case.
If anything, more so.
Well,
because men are drowned out in a pool of other men. We have to stand out not just in ability, but a bunch of other things. Women, if you're just halfway good as a man, but you got boobs.
The whole point about affirmative action is to lowering the standards for minority groups so they can get in those roles easier, which generally leads to less performance, because if you lower those standards, you don't get as qualified people in the role. But that's what needs to happen. That's the whole point of affirmative action. And Black Girl Gamers seems to be what it's basically based around the philosophy of affirmative action.
Yeah.
And again, there is an underlining kind of philosophy that comes out when they say there's an issue with that these black girl gamers are not into gaming as much, stuff like that. And it's the idea that there's a lot of kind of philosophical things that are underpinning all this, and it's fun to talk about.
None of them salient though. Their points. Yeah.
Because the idea of white privilege is underpinning this, right? And it's like, I'm sorry, you'll never convince me that a homeless man living on the street has more privilege than the Obama daughters, right?
He might be better at Candy Crush. He
might be better at chess.
Yeah.
But you'll never, there are huge, groups of, white communities that are poor and suffer socioeconomically and stuff like that. And there are communities that are predominantly black that suffer socio. And what it is, if you're okay, let's just help the poor and not define it and target it by race. Okay, let's just help disadvantaged people. But then you have, if that narrative of oppression gets pushed and pushed and pushed, then it goes into everything. And when they see unequal representation, a disparagement, they instantly fall to it is due to inequality in some measure, that or some type of privilege, that because there are not enough black girl gamers, there is injustice there, and we have advocacy, activist groups that come forward like Black Girl Gamers, and then they start to push certain, what I see as kind of racist stereotyping and also racist selection in who they want to either hire or support.
And sexist too.
Racist, sexist, yeah, because it's black girl gamers specifically.
Now, I personally don't mind either way. If you want to have laws where, no, you got to hire everyone based on merit, or you got to hire based on what you personally think. For government, I reckon it should be merit, but for personal business, I think it should be either. But at least be consistent, Don't just pick and choose and,
I mean, a business has to have standards in who they hire, like qualifications. You need to be able to do the job, right? But one of the things that, is in law is that you can't do that by race, though, okay?
Yeah.
That's off the table. But then when you have a company that's literally called Black Girl Gamers, it's like, hang on. What, huh?
You're gonna hire a middle-aged Japanese dude?
Like, again, imagine if there was a thing that was just white male gamers. If it's something like that. Like that,
the majority of gamers.
That sounds... But there was a group only for white male gamers. That's like... That sounds inherently racist and sexist. It's like... but in reverse, because of the minority... And it's a whole you can't be racist to white people narrative.
I don't even need white male gamers. Just bro gamers. That's it.
Bro gamers.
Mexicans, blacks, Japs... That's all racist to say, apparently, for shorthand, but I'm just saying that I don't mind. They're all part of the male fist.
The thing is, like, gaming... Male fist.
The male fist, yeah. The time of the male gamer is rising. We will drive the iron sword with the fist of the male gamer.
Obsessed with fist.
With fists?
With fists.
I just think we should fist the
I know, I was
matriarchy.
wants to fist everything. It's
Fist
really
the
weird.
matriarchy.
He asked me about it once, and I was like, no, that feels a bit weird.
Well... Anyway,
You got me! I got it! He couldn't think of a comeback.
Oh, fuck it.
So, yeah, like, it is this kind of reverse racism. You can't be racist to white people, and the very kind of name of it just makes me go, you know? Now, even then, it's like, okay, you have this group that you want to only, push up and advocate and help out black girl gamers, right? That doesn't even seem to be the case. Because there was a black girl gamer that they worked with. Her name is Gothix. And they ended up not liking her. They ended up kicking her out. You want to know why?
Why?
She had the wrong politics.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right.
Always that.
And so they actually are not wanting to support all black girl gamers. They only want to support black girl gamers that agree with their politics.
Yep.
So black girl lefty gamers.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what they should rename it. Black left-leaning or the ultra-left black girl gamers.
Yeah. Commie black chick gamers.
Yeah, because it's the whole thing that the ultra-woke have against minority individuals that do not agree with them politically. Like Eric July, right?
Who's that?
He is he's a friend to FNT, he is a YouTuber, but also basically the most successful indie comic creator at the moment.
Is he a black dude?
Yeah, black.
Ah.
Yeah. And so he's basically the most successful indie comic creator with his comic book Isom, right? And people on the left hate him. And all these people like racism and everything like that have called him some of the most racist stuff under the sun, right? Because when a minority doesn't agree with him, suddenly their real colours come out, right? The story continues. This is all just interesting discussion on the philosophy and underpinning thing about just this concept of having a group like this, right? And so a website called That Park Place decided to actually do an article on them, and here it is here. And like, Forspoken consultant black girl gamers appear to be discriminating in their hiring practice while claiming they are being harassed. We're going to talk about what is harassment. That's a separate video.
Okay.
Subscribe to Night's Watch, by the way. Support really helps out as well. To catch future videos, because I want to just talk about this idea of harassment, because a lot of people are claiming it. But anyway, so Black Girl Gamers claims that they're being harassed, and this website appears to have the website says that they appear to have discriminatory hiring practices. Now, Black Girl Gamers have tried to push back against that, and they've even launched legal action against That Park Place for saying this. But let's see the context, okay? So, That Park Place says, back on Friday the 19th, the organisation appeared to post a job opportunity on X limiting the applications based on race and gender. It appears to do this.
Ah, clever.
They did not say definitively they are limiting. They just say, by the look of it, and that's shown by the wordage where they say, it appears to post a job on X limiting applications based on race and gender. The organisation wrote, looking for black women content creators that make Dungeons & Dragons D&D content for some potential brand work. Hit us up.
Now, if the word appears was to mean could be represented in reality with proof, physical proof, I would say that
but it
appears.
also appears is meaning to say this looks like or could be interpreted this way, but not is definitively that. It's just this is what it looks like. And when I read that, I think my takeaway, if I was reading this as a casual person, is like, you're only wanting black women applicants.
Yeah, if I was a person of reasonable mind who spoke English, I feel like that's the only... Unless that's just they're looking for someone named Black Woman Content Creators that make Dungeons & Dragons content. Maybe it's a missing persons report. Who knows?
And so, ironically, a little less than a month later, the organization claimed it was being harassed while not providing any evidence. The amount of harassment we've had recently due to Gamergate 2 is not surprising. Gamers that thought the industry revolved around them and their comforts are now realizing it doesn't.
Wait a minute. I just had a cognitive dissonance hit me in the back of the soul. So, they're saying that gamers think that the gaming industry, which is a comfort industry, an entertainment industry, revolves around their comfort.
Revolves around them. Like, gamers, the literal consumers of this industry, the people who buy the product, right, assume that the industry revolves around them when they are literally the customer.
Do these people know how buy-sell work?
Right?
I want thing, I give money, you give thing, or I don't give you money.
They said, we've had emails, comments, and threats, but you know what? We're not going anywhere. Because I saw their original tweet when it popped up, where they said, gamers thought that the industry revolved around them and their comforts and are now realizing it doesn't. Like, that is just a wildly dumb statement.
Yeah.
And so inaccurate. And so, of course, they got clowned on and lambasted and people calling out for the bullcrap. And I love that you hadn't seen it and your instant reaction was just like, hang on, what?
And now I'm not the fastest tool in the ice cream factory, but, like, yeah, I just didn't...
Shocking, right?
Yeah.
And that's what was the reaction of most people. And yet, people calling them out, that's what they're claiming as harassment, it seems like.
Oh, okay.
Criticism.
I'd like to see the threats.
Where produce the actual evidence. And we've done a video talking a little bit about this in regards to, I forget the exact title, but it's Lisa McCunty. She brought up a tweet about supposed threats and stuff like that. And we said very clearly, it's like, don't do anything. And one, it's doubtful that was even a real one. Like, I wouldn't put it past these people to make fake things. And it was from an anonymous email account, and there was some dodgy stuff in that.
I say bring out your dead, death threats. I mean, you know.
Yeah, prove it.
Yeah.
And they haven't produced any of that, right? And so they claim that it's harassment, right? And it seems like they're saying people have an issue with girls that are black who are gamers, and that's the line. We're not going anywhere. It's like, no. All right. A couple of things. Nothing against girls who are black who are playing games. In fact, gaming has brought so many people together. If you can, do the job in the game, in the multiplayer game, and everything like that, and you're good at it, yeah, hell yeah. But if you're bad at the game, you'd get trash talked and constantly. Like, I mean, I played Dota 2 a lot back in the day, and the trash talk on that, especially if you were bad at it and it was a team game. But if you're good at race, color, sex meant nothing.
I was historically awful at Dota 2.
You were amazing.
I had a panic attack. I broke
it
several
almost
things.
caused mental, like PTSD.
I still have flashbacks.
Okay, so nothing is black girl gamers who are girls are black. But in terms of this group, the consulting group, it seems like they do not understand gaming. They have something against gamers. It was like the gaming industry doesn't revolve around you. Who do you want it to revolve around you? Are you saying, like, that would be my question. If gamers realizing it doesn't revolve around them, that's like, these activists believe they want to remake gaming to revolve around their activism. They want to co-opt the hobby and completely bastardize it and remake it in their image, right? And it's like, if that's the case, then yeah, gamers will want you out of our spaces. But how we're going to do that is just ignore you. You make games, we're going to ignore it and we'll boycott it. We will point out which games you worked on. That's just informing the consumer to make a choice based on knowing who's worked on stuff.
And as I'm sure my brothers out there would understand and know with full knowledge that this is actually correct, their ladies and the games they'd be playing, they're not going anywhere. You know, we didn't expect reality to be so kind. So
I don't know what you're saying.
I was making I know a lot of black culture.
Do you?
I honestly do. Like, I'm not even kidding.
You're kind of like honorarily black, spiritually black.
No, I just have consumed a lot of the
Not
culture.
black from the waist down.
I wish. No, I've consumed a lot of black media and had a lot of black friends, and so I represent and I stand out for the brothers.
You've had a lot of interactions with
people,
with black people. Yeah, friends.
Yeah.
You've even been beaten up.
Yeah, that was at one time, but basically everybody agreed that was messed up, and I made a lot of friends after that.
You made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You were hospitalized.
Yeah, for a bit there I was.
For a bit, like.
Yeah.
So you've had lots of interaction with,
Absolutely.
black people in your life.
But I never, and also they said that I was saying bad things. I did not say anything bad to deserve that.
Yeah.
It's completely random. But yeah, I don't hold anything against anybody, apart from women in general. Not kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah. So it goes on to say, interestingly, in a post shortly after that one, the organisation implied that telling it you're not being harassed is harassment.
Wait a minute, what?
So they say, you're not being harassed in quotates while simultaneously partaking in harassment is insane.
So harassment is just being like, excuse me, madam, I disagree with you.
I disagree with you. But even, of course, people are probably clowning on it, saying this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
Calling something stupid, and it actually is stupid. Like, what they said was stupid. It's the whole playing the victim narrative that we see these activists do all the bloody time, right? So this is the nature of the article. Okay, it goes on to talk about Forspoken, Luminous Productions, and so on and so forth. Well, Black Girl Gaming has a problem with that. So in response to that Park Place article, Black Girl Gamers made a Twitter thread, but also basically threatened anyone, they'll sue anyone, right, or take legal action.
Appears.
Like if you say appears, right? And Bounding into Comics covers this. And so it starts off with this one. It's like, we're addressing recent allegations published by that Park Place about discriminatory hiring practices with black girl gamers. These claims are false and were made without prior fact-checking or verification for us or our representation. And they go on to say, Black Girl Gamers operates as a contracting organisation that collaborates with both freelancers and content creators from all backgrounds to work on various projects and initiatives to amplify underrepresented voices in gaming and make the community more inclusive. Funny that those last lines goes back to we'll talk about is like, why is it an issue if a minority group is a minority group in gaming? Because, but that that's a problem. That's a problem.
And also their last couple of lines completely contradict their first couple of lines. We're for all groups and all that, but only the minorities, says Black Girl Gamers.
And they say, right, that they we operate as a contract organization, collaborate with both freelancers and content creators from all backgrounds. This is not about who you collaborate with. This is about who you hire.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So I was like, you're not actually addressing the claim yet, okay? And the claim was hiring practices, not who you work with in like collaborations and stuff. And maybe they'll mention it's like, contrary to the allegations of the article, Black Girl Gamers has contracted freelancers of all races, genders, sexual orientations, religions, ethnic. Contracted. And no, what about your actual people you hire? And I have a feeling that they would not hire a Trump supporter. It's just me. That's my opinion. It's the impression I get.
I get that vibe too.
Yeah, I mean,
get that vibe.
Gothics was excommunicated because she voted for Trump.
Trump hired many black people.
He did.
So he wouldn't be guilty of that.
We have also included representation of all genders and backgrounds in our content at our events, in our marketing, consultation, and research projects, some of which are not publicly disclosed due to NDAs. Again, this isn't about the content you're making, your events, and it's also included representation in our marketing, consultation, and research projects. It's about hiring.
Yeah.
That's the question.
But they'll just keep obfuscating.
Evidence demonstrating our commitment to diversity and inclusion, including our non-discriminatory hiring practices, is readily available and easily researched. Now, here's the thing. a company might say, our policy is to not discriminate on gender, sex, race, da-da-da-da-da, right? But then it just so happens that the people they hire ends up being only of certain persuasions or ethnicities and things.
That's a racist thing to say.
There is a different thing that you might say in policy versus what you practice. And that original tweet that this all comes down to is when they wanted specifically to look for, black girls for their D&D project or something like that.
Yeah. Why does it have to be D&D, huh? That's discriminatory. Why can't it be Vampire the Masquerade?
Yeah, upon discovering these false and defamatory allegations, we have taken steps to obtain legal counsel to take action against the publication and journalists, as well as subsequent content creators who reshare the false allegations about our organization. They will take actions against content creators who reshare.
Reshare?
Yeah.
Are we in trouble?
We might be, I don't know, but I think we've been pretty open about... People are allowed to comment on the news, and...
Are we at risk of black girl gamers hitting us with like a legal drive-by, so to speak?
Possibly.
I hope not.
Subscribe to Nice Watch and support us.
Yeah,
We'll cover the news, right? This is interesting. And then it says, we will continue to pursue further action against anyone who persists in spreading false and defamatory information about Black Girl Gamers, its founder and its contractors and partners. And all we've said is that it looks like you guys are racist.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys are actually very racist. I don't know if you are or not, but the appearance, the preferential treatment and focus on a racial group, that if in reverse, if this was white male gamers and they were only hiring white men and stuff like that, and specifically reaching out into the community, asking for only white applicants, right? That would look racist. I'm just saying, that's the appearance of what it would be.
I would accuse that of racism.
Regardless of the policies behind the scene that says, our policy is not discriminating, when your actions and what you say in public indicate another way, that's what it appears.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah.
We value the talent and contribution of all our collaborators. You didn't value Gothics, right? And we are committed to continuing to do so. Thank you to our community for the ongoing support.
It was probably a typo. They meant to say, we value our corroborators.
So, it looks like Black Girl Gamers have actually launched that legal action. So, Valiant Renegade says, here is both the cease and desist demand from Black Girl Gamers and the official response from them, the legal counsel. And so, this is the cease and desist letter. We demand you immediately cease and desist from posting and displaying any video and or comments about Mrs. Lopez, Black Girl Gamers, and Black Girl Gamers. And we demand that by April 5th, 2024, you remove any and all links and references to video games, YouTube, Twitter, and comments upon or visually depict Mrs. Lopez and stuff like that. It's like, well done for Streisanding affecting this.
Yeah, but also...
I have a feeling that they're not going to win. That this seems like a type of attempted legal intimidation, because I didn't see anything, and this is my own layman's, understanding as I interpret it. It did not appear like they said anything definitive. They're saying, their original tweet, if I can bring it up. It's all the way at the top of this article here. This one, all right? No. Let's actually go to the article itself, because it was their commentary. And this was what they said. The organization appeared to post a job opportunity on X limiting the application based on race and gender. That, if I was to see just this tweet, that's what it appears like. Okay? They did not say on this article, on that Park Place, that they're saying Black Girl Gamers is absolutely, by policy, discriminating against or hiring people based on race and gender and stuff like that. All right? But they're saying, based on this tweet. I do not see that as anything illegal in terms of,
It seems literally to be the case. Literally. Not figuratively, not maybe. It seems that is literally what is happening.
That's what it looks like. If I just saw that tweet, I would think, Black Girl Gamers are discriminating based on race in their hiring and who they want to collaborate with.
The company, not all Black Girl Gamers.
The company is literally called Black Girl Gamers.
Yeah, but not all Black Girl Gamers.
Not all Black Girl,
just the company.
But also only the people that politically agree with them.
Yeah.
They certainly don't want to help and support Or like their mission statement is to support black girl gamers, right? But if that was the case, why'd you blacklist Gothics, right? They don't want to support this minority group. They only want to support the minority group that agrees with them politically.
Well, I feel like they got Gothics and put her onto the what they call the whitelist, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so, that's one of the things. And this is the response. We represent that Park Place, its principals and employees, and we write in response to yours. We have reviewed your demands and, on consideration, find them both meritless and ridiculous. For these reasons, your demands are rejected in whole, and we consider the matter closed. Please direct any further inquiries as may be necessary to the undersigned by email. Yours truly, the lawyer. So they're just like,
damn,
get stuffed.
In legal terms, that's what I call a checkmate. No, Black Girl Gamers, a slam dunk. If it was Asian, it'd be a hole-in-one, or...
That's racial stereotyping, Oz.
Oh, okay, fine. Football, I don't know. I really don't know sports.
I was this close to calling you
What?
the white slur.
Oh, do it, man, do
I
it.
was this I don't care. I shouldn't white people have... Like, so there is a type of biscuit called a cracker that people consume that is sometimes that wordage is used as association with white people.
I don't mind.
Shouldn't white people have that white pass? But the thing is, the reason why is that content has actually been taken down for people saying that word.
Oh, okay.
So I have to be careful, but I don't care. Like to me, I find that funny.
I
dumb because it's like I don't get it. I don't find it offensive at all if someone was to call me that. But
when I worked at the airport, a black dude came in and said to me, "Cracker, please," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh you want? Okay, yeah, here you go."
you
I was happy for 1 second. Yeah, I was really happy for a bit.
Thought you had a friend. And so
wow.
What?
Oh, you thought you had a friend? That's great.
It is an accomplishment for us. So, Gothics has actually, because she has a history with Black Girl Gamers, and so she was on the Side Scrollers podcast, talked about her experience. Watch the Side Scrollers segment with Gothics, right? And you hear about how they kind of got in contact with her, worked with her, blacklisted her, and all that stuff. And so then they, Black Girl Gamers, launched like a massive long Twitter thing, basically trying to discredit Gothics. Gothics has responded, and it's like they're full of crap. We don't have time to go through the video, but that's the whole Black Girl Gamers thing. Wow,
Saga.
Wow, it is a saga at this point.
Yep.
And it's all in relation to Gamergate 2. This just keeps on evolving.
Straight out of Twitter.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a wild time. And like the takeaway is that Black Girl Gamers is a far left advocacy group, and this is why it's not just Sweet Baby Inc. There's a whole host of these consulting groups. There's game companies are infected with this. The activists. Because activists are so close to advocates.
I feel like it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, right. But they're infested with activists, right? And gamers have had enough. And all they're doing is just saying, these are who they work for. And the whole, Black Girl Gaming trying to sue that Park Place and everything, it's all, they want what they're doing hidden. Under the surface, under the radar, so they can go about their advocacy, because it's been effective. While they've been working in the shadows, they have corrupted so many gaming companies, right? They've fully infested and corrupted the GDC.
I feel like industries was the right word too.
Industries as well, yeah, absolutely, right? And they want to keep it that way, going that way, right? And one of the reasons why is that it seems like they know that they make crap products, and if people are aware of it, they won't buy it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's been the trend. Like, look at Forspoken, look at Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, look at Saints Row, all these insanely worked games, horrible, right? But then there are games that aren't nearly as bad, but it has that messaging in it, like Spider-Man 2. And so their goal is to try and push their propaganda in front of people's faces without them knowing it. Without the gamers or the consumer aware or informed, so that they can try, and they want to re-engineer society and get them re-educated on their advocacy, right? And so they want to infect it into media and get it in front of people without them being aware of it. And that's the whole point. It's all in secret. And so if we are aware of it, it was like, we don't want any of this propaganda. We're not playing it. And so the only way that they can do it then is to hide it behind the scenes. And then if it's and it's what's interesting is like that means they're not proud of what they don't want the world to know what they're doing. You see? Like it actually
sneaky.
they want it hidden because they know people don't want this and they want to sneak it in. And you can see how deceptively they act as a result. And when they get exposed, they want to put a lid on it and shut it down. That was the whole thing. Like Sweet Baby Ink tried to do that with Brutus and the
Et tu, Brute?
and they Streisand affected, and Black Girl Gaming made a dumb comment. Streisand affecting it. This lawsuit, Streisand, and their whole takeaway is they're exposing themselves. Right? They worked on Forspoken. Right? These are the people that are actively working to destroy the gaming industry by remaking their image. And the answer is to not harass or anything like that. Just boycott.
Yep.
Not have a bar of it.
Just don't look.
Yep.
Just don't look.
And as always, stay on watch.